Welcome everybody to round 2 of 4, Tuesday Night Modern. Hot Modern action.
Come get some.
Come get some.
We got on the left Chad Arthur playing some sort of Sultai variant.
AKA the Dirtle.
Dirtling around. And on the right, Scott Williamson is playing Loam Bears, which I have no idea what that means.
Well, there's bears.
And
Loams.
like Loam Lions? Life from the Loams?
Maybe.
Loam Guardians?
You know what? Your guess is as good as mine.
I was roundly chastised for not having a Loam Guardian in my EDH deck when somebody borrowed it.
Sure. I don't think you should be chastised for that. Hate bears with life and loam getting combo ghost quarters.
All right. Caught up with us in the chat. Thanks so much.
Life from the loam is the loam in
the
question.
Loam point. The loamiest. Yeah, the Leonin Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter is quite the combo.
Especially with the Arbiters in his deck.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Leonin Arbiter Ghost Quarter is like a strong...
Oh. I thought you were saying that Life from the Loam with Ghost Quarter was a good combo, which it is.
Yes, but if you add Leonin Arbiter, you really ice the cake.
You really ice the cake, put the cherry on top.
As Eminem might say, it's the bee's knees, legs, and arms, too.
I don't know that he would say that about this particular combo. But, you know what? He surprised me in the past.
Correct.
Who's keeping 7? Let's see.
Oh,
we've got land.
I imagine if you have life from the
land.
Loam.
No, there's not all that many lands, but I think we do have like 4. I don't know if Dirtle's keeping either. Sultai, Delirium.
I imagine if you're going to play Delirium in Modern, you're going to play the Traverse the Uvenwald.
Oh, yeah.
And that card is just, I mean, one of those in your opener is really good, and it's a late game top deck that's very, very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those cards where 1 in the hand's worth 2 in the bush.
Right. 2 in the bush.
2 in the bush.
What?
1 in the hand's worth 2 in the bush.
I'm just saying it's good at all stages.
Yeah, and I'm saying 1 in the hand's worth 2 in the bush. Sneaky Shadowstalker has commented that 1 is the loamiest number.
1 is the loamiest number?
It might be true.
All right.
I actually think 2 is the loamiest number. I always play 2 life in the loams. Sometimes it's 1 in the main, 1 in the board, but...
That's a card I need to get rid of. I've got 2 of them, and I just don't imagine I'll ever play a life from the Loam deck.
Well, you need to get some taste in Magic the Gathering cards then.
Concur. I'll probably keep 1.
In Mason, Ohio, a suburb of Cincinnati.
Northern suburb.
Northern suburb of Cincinnati. Not Dayton. Not even roughly.
Yeah.
You thought wrong, always ninth.
Scavenging Ooze. This is one I'm going to have to really put my focus into because I don't know what could come out of either of these decks.
So you're going to focus on this Scavenging Ooze.
Scavenging Ooze is in play.
I'm going to focus on the 2 in the bush while you do that.
I imagine Scavenging Ooze is a pretty critical card against a Delirium deck, and Chad's going to play carefully around it. Or he's just going to snap off like the first Fatal Push he sees.
Yeah. So it's Loam Bears because it plays Life from the Loam to complement the Ghost Quarter Arbiter combo.
All right.
I don't know why that can't just be Hate Bears with like this 1 card in it. I don't know why that changes the deck, but
listen, it's
here we go.
Twist. He's on his own.
What a twist!
Playing on his own terms. It's part of the fun of Magic. You get to win on your terms.
So we got an Overgrown Tomb.
Here you rule.
Here Ja rule. 2 mana. All right, so we got Collected Company.
Collective Brutality is going to escalate. It looks like once.
At least once. He's thinking about this. He has announced a spell without announcing the modes, which is technically not illegal play. But
he's still announcing the modes. He announced the first mode as being Neg2. And he's considering whether or not he wants to. I don't think there's a ton of value in Drain Life in here. Unless he needs to fill up the card for the graveyard for Delirium.
I'll tell you what, if my opponent plays a Temple Garden and a 2/2 for 2, I know what's up, and I know that 2 damage is going to be an attack. So I'm very happy to gain 2.
To trade an entire card for 2 life?
Look, man.
Look, I'm looking. Where do you want me to look?
This is definitely a deck where 1 card in the yard's worth 2 in the bush. And
as we've said. Alright, so he chooses Neg2, and the Duress effect. He gets an instant or sorcery. It's not any Duress is non-land, non-creature.
So here we go, path, but we get information. And information, my friends, is always good.
If we're going to go with idioms, you might say knowing is half the battle.
You might say that 1 information's worth 2 in the bush. Or I might.
Yep, that's something John Douglas will point out to you.
I'm sure there's some Abzan today, but I think we have 25 players, 27, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Chad really thinking about this turn too. This is big. He has to get rid of the Scavenging Ooze. Revealing a second Scavenging Ooze was very bad. Revealing this Whitleaf Liege and Loxodon Smiter also very bad.
Yeah, you don't want to like
turn 1 Inquisition your opponent's Loxodon Smiter.
No, that's bad.
Chad has done that on stream before. So
oh yeah, okay. I knew it had happened. I wasn't going to bring it up again, but
I am all about reminding people of their mistakes so that they better themselves.
All right. You wouldn't want to, like, wrench mind him right now, though.
No. You also wouldn't want to plus a Lily.
I'm surprised Mind Shatter's never made it into Modern.
Mind Shatter?
I would say the 2 cards I'm surprised Modern doesn't see more often are Sphinx's Revelation and Mind Shatter.
Oh, goodness. That's a spicy one.
There's a Cursor of Crewfix.
That is spicy. So Mind Shatter and what? I'm sorry, I was too busy marking out
Sphinx's Revelation
cursor. So Sphinx's has seen a little bit of play back in the Jeskai days.
Right. Well, Blue-White has really moved into a position of prominence. There's a lot of them in the top 16 of the last Modern Open. I haven't looked at the
It wasn't the Open, was it? I thought it was the Classic.
Oh, the Classic. I'm sorry, the Classic in Cincinnati.
I think the Classic results are a little bit skewed.
Towards decks that beat Jund?
No, just towards, like, you know, pet decks and stuff like that. So I would take it with a grain of salt. Not to say that those decks aren't good. I'm just saying that the meta is a bit skewed, I guess is a better way to put it.
Some delicious, maybe like a Himalayan pink salt.
What?
The grain of salt. I want like that big kosher finishing salt.
No, I don't want to do that.
Definitely not the crappy salt that they put on pretzels at like the fair or like.
That salt's amazing. That's the best salt.
Are you kidding me?
Best salt in the land.
It's like a half a step up from road salt.
All right, well, road salt's pretty sweet too.
For roads?
Yeah. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the things that I can take things with. I don't want a grain of road salt.
Well, you got it. So.
Chad's going to fetching.
Loxodon Smiter has joined the fray. 1 less card he has to worry about dumping with the Lily. However,
with his control,
this Whitleaf Liege is a big game next turn. Represents lethal.
With
the full lethal damage. He gets to swing for his opponent's entire life total next turn, if unimpeded, in casting this Whitleaf Liege. Abrupt Decay will make short work of the Loxodon Smiter, though.
Let's see if we got a... Nope, no Fatal Push follow-up.
Would have been very nice.
As controlling as this Sultai deck is, I imagine it has access to Damnation. Also, there's several awesome foil copies of Damnation, so I would not put it past Chad to want to play one of those.
Correct. I don't know that Damnation in the main is a very reasonable thing to do, but I've been surprised by Dirtle's choices before. Inquisition of Kozilekking a Loxodon Smiter on turn 1, notwithstanding.
So not knowing the cards in Chad's hand, I'm wondering how good this Scavenging Ooze is. I don't know if it's keeping him off of Delirium. Ooh!
That's a spicy one.
It found a throat. It went for it.
Alright, throat has been gone for.
Ghost Quarter gets sacrificed, or gets finished resolving here. Chad's gonna find a basic bitch.
A big game, actually. I don't believe it comes into play tapped.
Concur.
So he could have represented like a Spell Pierce or something like that. Or, I mean, even a Fatal Push, although... Guess we're not in the mood to bluff.
Yeah, I think Ghost Quarter is one of those cards that's counterintuitive. Like, so Path to Exile the land is tapped.
Mm-hmm.
All other things, like, I don't know. I feel like tapped is the default on searching your library and putting a land into play. Untapped is unique.
I agree. But I also think if you are playing in a modern tournament, you should know how Ghost Quarter works. But that's just me.
I think you're really setting the barrier to entry like pretty high there, to be completely honest.
Really?
Yeah, so I think one of the things, and I wish this weren't the case, one of the things that is keeping people out of Modern.
Mm-hmm.
So Modern is definitely a format that is populated by players that have been playing for a long time. Nobody like gets into Magic and is like, man, this Modern format is sick. I want to learn 20 decks.
I'm making strange noises in case the microphone's not picking it up.
Yeah, he's in some like faces. So I think those interactions are reasons people don't want to approach Modern.
So, obviously I played Ghost Quarter during both of its standard runs.
Right.
And so I probably know more about like Ghost Quarter tricks than the average player. And I've done some pretty sweet things with Ghost Quarter in my day.
Can we sidebar real quick?
Okay.
Preferred Ghost Quarter art?
The Innistrad art.
Okay. All right. Well, I disagree, but...
Okay. I mean, that's
the main topic.
I'm used to disagreeing with you. We've got the Thoughtseize into the Smiter. Chad packs it up. Not the first time we've seen that on camera. Don't even take the chance, Chad. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, I would. Do you take the discard all the way out?
Yeah, I mean, what's the point? He's got like 8 cards that just blow you out. Like, you practically lose if you hit any of them.
Sure.
While we're sideboarding here, I've got a great question from chat. Dovakin Beast says, I have been playing Magic for quite a few months now, casually with buddies. What is a good way to integrate myself into the local Magic community and better develop myself as a Magic player? What events should I be looking to join?
So if I've been playing a couple months, you understand how the game works. What I would do, or what I recommend people do, is... So I would imagine you have a budget, and I imagine the budget, you don't want to go and spend $150, $300 on a deck, on a standard deck.
Right.
So what I would do is I would go to draft, and before you do this, get on Channel Fireball, and they have some of the best instructional draft videos, and watch everybody. Everybody does it a little differently, so you can watch LSV, you can watch a bunch of different guys there, draft the current sets that are out, and so that you're going to have an idea of what a good draft deck's going to look like when you sit down and what the most powerful cards are. That way you're going into something that can feel very complex, like you're making a lot of decisions while you're drafting, but it boils it down a little bit. You're going to get some new cards. You're going to get experience. You can win F&M cards, that kind of stuff that you can trade for. I mean, the F&M cards right now are worth a lot because you get Aether Hubs, I think was last month, and Fatal Push is coming up, and those are going to trade, at $5, $10 in that range.
Fatal Push is September, but go ahead.
Oh, it's coming up, so.
Yeah, it's definitely coming up. I think it's the last F&M promo.
Wow.
Way to go out with a bang.
And the other thing you should do is find the guy that's always winning stuff and just stand behind him.
Not creepily, like
just watch what he's doing, watch the play. Like I like to stand behind players I know that are better than me and be like, okay, here's what I would do, and then watch them do something completely different.
Completely different.
And be like, oh wow, that was much better. And so that way you kind of learn their thought process a little more.
Absolutely.
But draft until you get enough standard cards together to get a deck, and then start with standard.
So I think draft is sweet. I think it turns a lot of people off, but it shouldn't. I think you definitely need to get a draft. But if you aren't familiar enough with draft or don't feel comfortable drafting, I think the best thing to do if you're going to try to get into a local Magic community, and a lot of this depends on what formats the local Magic community plays, because there are some local Magic communities where you can just go and you can't find a standard game. Mm-hmm. Or you can't find a modern game. So I would definitely go and get a feel for it first. If it's diverse enough, I think probably I don't want to play standard. I might try to get in some games of Commander with competitive players, not like competitive Commander players, but players that know what they're doing.
Okay.
I think you get a lot of complex rules interactions that way. Mm-hmm. I think you learn a lot about the game. And then if you want to transition that into, staying casual for a while, you can. If you want to transition that into playing more competitive, you can.
Right. I just love draft for its cheap barrier to entry. I
would agree.
I think unless obviously when I offer somebody like, hey, you should come learn to play Magic. I mean, I have a very expansive Magic collection because I've been playing forever, and I don't have anything else to do with my life.
Okay.
And so I give people, here, you can use this, whatever. But if you don't have that, it's just really hard to build up a collection. And draft is a great way to do it. It's usually somewhere between $12 and $15. And you can even be like, oh, I'm just going to take this uncommon that's worth $3.
You don't see those a whole lot anymore, but yeah.
Well, in last format, Fatal Push, or in the new set, a Braid.
Is a Braid 3 now?
A Braid, I mean, it's worth more than 0. You can put it in a trade binder, and people will ask you about it. Over under on the cost of a Braid. What do you want to set the line at?
So on Channel Fireball, you can just go and look at any of their draft videos and just watch them. He said that everyone does it. Specifically, I think you mentioned LSV.
LSV is my favorite.
So a Braid over under, I'd set at. Well, I mean, you were looking at the price, so you set the over under, I guess.
Would set the line at $2. You think it's more or less than $2?
I would say under.
It's two and a quarter.
Ooh, 2 1/4
on Star City.
Are they sold out? 12 1/4.
No, there's 20 in stock.
Okay,
you can
so
buy 20.
A solid 2
20 of Braids. The foil is sold out at $7.
I believe it. All right, so we've got a couple more questions coming through. Yes, Glorybringer is a bomb, and some bombs are not fun to play against. Glorybringer in particular is very hard to interact with. Oh, we've got a Mishra's Bauble here in the Sultai Delirium deck. That's interesting.
All right, you're going to check out the
but that's part of the game. Like, being able to, like, learning to play around bombs and learning how to best play with your own bombs is a big part of draft.
Yeah, and getting better at Magic is often, and I'm guilty of this in the last couple weeks.
This Liliana could do some work here.
Concur. He currently doesn't have any pressure to apply. Liliana went up to kill the bird, and so now Scott's he needs to turn the gas on.
Yeah, he needs to get something going. We need a Smiter here would be very good.
Right.
Just some creature that's not answered. We got another question here. The best deck for a GP standard? I don't know about standard right now.
I think the best deck would change from week to week.
Yeah. So like if you're playing this weekend, the best deck is, I don't know. You'd have to take a serious read of the meta. So we've only had one tournament, and it was like very heavily skewed towards decks that already existed, obviously. And then this weekend we have the Pro Tour, and that's when you're going to get the meta.
Let me throw this out there.
Throw it.
I think
throw it right in the bush with the other two.
The majority of players are not good enough to pick up whatever the best deck for any one given week is and play that deck as competently as you have to play it to maximize the value you get out of the deck. I think you get more value out of a deck that you know, and so like pick a standard deck that you know is going to be around a while. I think this Monument deck has some legs that's going to stick around for a while. My flavor of choice is Mardu Vehicles. It definitely has better weeks where it's like, you know, more well positioned, but I think I gain more value from knowing that deck and playing it well versus picking up a deck that I might not know as well, just because it has better matchups that week.
Okay. I agree with you on some of your points, but disagree vehemently with others.
Fantastic.
So, there you go. I think that playing the deck that you're best at is totally reasonable, but I think you have to play it against the best deck in the format a lot. And you have to know the best deck in the format for that reason. And the better you get at playing against the best deck in the format, the better you'll get at playing the best deck in the format.
Okay. Let me put some context on what I said then. That's how I would view the current metagame.
Put some respect on it.
In a metagame like...
I don't think we have a metagame yet.
Okay.
Is where we differ here.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is that like I don't think like trying to grab like the deck that you think is going to have an advantage is going to be the best thing to do this weekend. I think playing a deck that you already know how it operates.
I think the best thing to do this weekend is to get with your other pro team players 2 weeks ago and grind out standard matches and figure out what the best deck in the format is.
No kidding.
And then play that deck.
Why are you such a butthead?
I'm just saying that's the best plan for this weekend.
Right.
Because there's no other tournaments.
So if we were to have like an established metagame, like say when Mono Black Devotion was undoubtedly the most powerful deck in the format, then picking up that deck and learning it inside and out is like a very reasonable thing to do.
Yes.
I'm not saying play the deck.
It's not a fun thing to do. It's not an exciting thing to do, but it's an important thing to do. Not even just reasonable, it's important.
If you want success in standard Magic. So Chad's still going ham with this Liliana.
A Vengeful Revenant. So we're going to get a nice little
this
3-mana neg 3 here. Adorable.
Yeah, so this card has Revolt. It's revolting. And it will take down any guy with 3 toughness or less.
Yeah, it's a cheap little skin render. Not quite as good, but here we are.
God, Skin Render put counters on.
Yep.
And
Budget skin render.
And you just got to cast it. You had a card leave the battlefield, so that counts.
So Lily and Vengeful Rebel tag team to take down the Whitleaf Liege. My liege.
Here's a Scavenging Ooze.
Miju Maru thinks Spell Queller is the best card in Type 2, which doesn't exist, but Standard.
It's a good card.
It's a good card. I don't think it's the best card. What do I think the best card is? Jeez.
The best card?
Yeah.
I think Torrential Gearhulk's the best card right now.
Torrential Gearhulk's very good. I think if I wanted to play a Spell Queller deck, you would have to work really hard to convince me to not play the Catcher's Monument deck. I think that deck just attacks from a very unique angle, even though it was kind of metagamed out at the last tournament.
Yeah.
We'll see if that lasts as the meta kind of shifts here.
Well, the rumor on the street is that Angel of Invention was sold out at the Grand Prix this weekend.
Oh, goodness gracious.
So I think that card, and I think if you go to the level of Angel of Invention, the response level is to be on Kefnet's Steal Your Guy, My Land Zone on tap, whatever that card's called.
Didn't you famously not play that
in a draft? Yes.
Yeah. So you took it.
I took it because it was a rare and there's like 3 cards left, and then I didn't play it.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I famously didn't play Torment of Scabs in my black deck and sealed deck this weekend.
Yeah, that's a good card.
Yeah.
Wouldn't play more than one, to be fair. But
all right. The Torment?
Yeah.
Okay. I only had the one, so it's the
doesn't Jeskai Control play Spell Queller? No Monument. Yeah, I don't imagine Jeskai Control would play Monument. I'm just saying I think that Monument is the best deck for Spell Queller.
Is Jeskai Control a real deck?
I don't know.
All right.
What is real?
A deck that's reasonably represented at any given tournament with a real prize support. So this Scavenging Ooze is a big boy.
It's a biggin.
And Chad's gonna go with the -2 on Liliana.
And what a call.
Finds a Snapcaster Mage.
I can't imagine this spell, or this, Scavenging Ooze is long for this world.
No, I think it's gonna catch this Abrupt Decay or Fatal Push. I can't really see the whole graveyard. I see an Abrupt Decay, though.
There's definitely an Abrupt Decay. There's definitely a Maelstrom Pulse. There's also a Traverse the Ulvenwald, it looks like. That's interesting. Oh.
There's a Grim Flare. It's probably a 4/4. I see Artifact, Instant, Sorcery, Land.
So this is interesting. He can probably shrink it with the Scavenging Ooze.
Yeah, I think he can get all the lands. Oh no, we're going to go on a path. We're going to learn the path.
Alright, so the Scavenging Ooze is really hurting the stock of this Snapcaster Mage.
Really hurting the stock of the whole deck.
Yeah.
Chad's deck is very interested in interacting with the cards in his graveyard, and Scavenging Ooze just does that better.
just eats them on it.
Yeah, he just gets it at a better rate, a cheaper cost.
So Temple Garden, untapped.
Scott's gonna go right to Chad's Gnome.
So we have 13 to 11 here.
All right.
What is the card in Scott's hand? Chad is driving himself crazy trying to figure that out. If it's a creature, he would have cast it.
Scott has no reason to show him.
No, absolutely not.
All right. Liana targets the Tarmogoyf or the Scavenging Ooze. And we're gonna find out what this card is. Here's an Inquisition. Show me.
A Disenchant was the card.
Huh.
That's an interesting one.
Well, Scott and I agree on Disenchant arts. I love the Tempest one.
It's good. It's good.
The DCI promo one's pretty good with the millstone on it.
Yeah, not a big fan of that one.
Alright. John's gonna go look up all the Disenchant arts so he can disagree with me.
No, I know the one that I like. I don't know what its original printing was. I think it was also time spiral, time shifted.
Okay.
Not this one.
No, not Mercadian Masks.
The Mercadian Masks one, right out. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of just
the Alpha printing.
Is that?
Yeah, that's the art from Alpha.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right.
That's the one. It's a real beaut.
It is. It's a nice.
Oh, so gorgeous.
So I don't know what this Liliana is at, but I don't know that I agree with Chad ever negating it. I assume he thought he was going to lose it, and that's why he did it. I guess he can lose it on literally any combat step. It just dies.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of going plus here to kill the Thalia.
Right. I want to ultimate the damn thing real bad.
That's not going to happen this game.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Unless Chad gets a removal spell here and can clean up this board. So Thalia down.
Yeah. See, if Chad top decks any removal spell, he's in such good shape.
We've got a Goyf. Probably not going to be that big for long.
Yep.
I don't know what's in Chad's hand. He's got 2 cards. I don't think any of them are
we know
lands.
one of them's a Snapcaster Mage.
Right.
And so Scott's going to take... the Scavenging Ooze up one.
His Goyf is getting smaller by the second. So Scott going down to 11 to shrink this Goyf to a mere Elvish Warrior.
Yep, and I think he ate the Thalia but never put a counter on it, so I think the...
There we go.
Okay, there it is. Okay. So we can remove any card, but you only get the life and the counter for creature cards.
That is correct.
So
Lethal. Got to block.
Here's the lethal.
Probably not worth it to snap out there right now.
Right. Man, you can see why this card dominated its Legacy debut.
Oh, yeah.
Legacy was all about Snapcaster Mage before Scavenging Ooze was printed.
I don't think Scavenging Ooze was the card that did it. I think Deathrite Shaman was.
Sure.
But, yeah, I mean, both of those cards
changed the face of that format.
I still think that Deathrite Shaman is the most powerful card in Legacy.
You could be right about that. I could
chew on that one, Brainstorm.
I could see an essay of 2,500 to 5,000 words being written regarding that topic.
I would not be the one writing it. Finds the removal spell. This is big.
The throat. Here's the throat.
Important interaction here. The spell goes to the graveyard after the Scavenging Ooze, so he won't have a chance to eat the Go for the Throat. So this Snapcaster is a big deal.
Yes. Yeah, Chad was on top decks, man. Alright, here it is. Liliana goes up. See, this is where you want to take that thing to the moon.
Yeah, that's going to be how you win this game. Oh, the other card was an E-Witness.
Getting back Go for the throat. That's intense.
Surprised he doesn't do it again after drawing a land that turn. I believe the draw there was Wiltleaf Liege. You definitely need multiple creatures out here. Looking at Chad's mana base, he might be to the point where these Ghost Quarters are strip mines on their own.
Yeah, if you don't have any basics in there, it's bad news. Here's the Go for the Throat again. And Scott's on the other side of this one. Chad we need to speed up the pace of this game if we're going to play a third one. So he just needs to, he chooses to go down. Misses, doesn't have any creatures to get back.
Yeah, going down is silly here.
Concur.
Chad's not playing to win the game, feels like. Feels like he just wants this one to end in a draw to be as dirtily as possible.
Well, if this game ends up in a draw, then he loses the match.
Oh, I understand.
So this is where you gotta turn the gas on.
Draws a Scavenging Ooze.
Draws one of the best cards in his deck. One of the best possible draw steps.
Scavenging Ooze is a big deal here.
If
Scott debating which land to get.
I don't know what these disenchants are doing in here.
Yes, I agree that Dirtle needs to quit dirtling.
Yes, concur. He needs to turn the gas on.
Everybody at home needs to say Dirtle no dirtling to the tune of Swiper no swiping. In hopes that Dirtle...
So here's what he did. He messed up here. While Scavenging Ooze is on the stack, you have to cast Snapcaster Mage to target your Go for the Throat. And that way, when he targets the Go for the Throat, it already has flashback and you can just fire it up.
Agreed.
So that's a small interaction there. Here's a bobble. This spells the end of the game for this. Dirtler we have. Scott's gonna think. Chad's gonna think. Everybody's thinking.
Eaten.
he should. There we go. All right.
Draws a Leyline of Sanctity.
This is a sideboard card I'm not unhappy about. It's a very reasonable card.
I don't think it does anything here.
Concur.
Like, what's the point of bringing that in?
So, if Chad were to have Liliana of the Veil, it's very good there. It's also very good against all his discard.
Yeah, but Scott has like 8 cards that are amazing against discard. I don't think you need 12.
All you need is love.
And 2 in the bush.
Mm-hmm.
Chad's had 2 draws. Let's see if he's got an answer to this Scavenging Ooze yet. Skews is really stymieing his ability to generate value. I believe that's a Verdant Catacombs.
Here's a Grim Flare.
Grim Flare!
Here's Liliana going up. So Scott's just going to empty out this graveyard here.
Yeah, why not? He's got a Delirium card on the battlefield. Might as well punish him for it.
Yep. And Chad is not going to win this one, I don't think. He's drawing into he's got to draw to another removal spell.
Yeah, another removal spell. Do it. Minusing Lily will not do it.
No, that's
don't minus Lily. Just keep plus.
It's the worst.
That's the only way you win this.
It's the worst possible because.
There we go.
Yeah,
he made the right decision.
All right, this is a thing that we can deal with. You get the Ponder here. You can put. It doesn't matter at this point if you get non-removal spells. They just bin them.
Yeah. Lots of lands in the yard. That's a good thing. You don't want those lands anyway.
Here's another Goyf.
Goyf. Really swarming the board here.
Now Scott's going to empty his own graveyard of non-land permanents.
The draw here is a Thalia. Not doing much anymore. Does block pretty well. Definitely shuts down this Grim Flare action.
Alright.
Dies to the Lily, but then the Scavenging Ooze can eat the Thalia.
Chad's going to take about 15 seconds here to look through his exile pile before he untaps. Make sure that we use all the time allotted to us. And here is a Fatal Push.
Yeah, that Fatal Push is real good here.
And this might just be fatal for Scott.
I don't believe it's fatal. I think we can shrink this Goyf.
I think last turn he needed to empty his graveyard of non-land cards. So
he's gaining life here and able to, like, if he only needs one type.
My point is, I think he does it last turn as well, because like now, you know, he wasted 4 mana on just lands, whereas he could have had this Goyf at, you know, a 2/3, just land an instant.
My point is he could have made it a 2/4 or a 2/3 anyway.
You got to get in with everybody. If you're the Dirtle here.
Yeah. Alpha striking is so far against what Dirtle does.
So I guess it was I was wrong here. It didn't matter. He was at not dead either way and dead next turn on the swing.
Well, because he gained the life with the Scavenging Ooze.
Right.
A lot of lands there for Scott. I think his hand is 2 lands. That could be game.
See, if I'm Scott, I'm going to shuffle and present. All right. Game 3. 2 Titans of Magic the Gathering.
2 Titans of Magic the Gathering, indeed.
Over 30 years of Magic experience between them.
How long has Dirtle been playing?
Well, okay, so I know Scott's been playing since '93.
Oh yeah, no, I 100% agree.
So I gave Dirtle 5 or 6 years. It's got to be at least 5 or 6 years. I don't know.
I think he started playing.
No, it's got to be a while.
I think it was like Return to Ravnica.
All right.
We'll ask Dirtle in between rounds. If anybody cares, we'll let you know. And if nobody cares, we'll still let you know. So deal with it, you nerds.
Right. Here you go.
All right. 2 minutes of shuffling.
So the thing is, Scott's the only deck at the table that can win in 5 minutes.
Right.
Plus turns. I don't think that's possible with Chad's deck. Scott's got a bird
got Grimflayer
opener
and Tarmogoyf. It's possible. It's not likely.
I guess you're right. He could have a strong opening of discard spell and a Tarmogoyf and a removal spell.
Right.
That's a great way to start a game.
Speaking of great ways to start a game, how about them birds?
Well,
speaking of things that are better with 1 in the hand than 2 in the bush,
you're right.
Birds.
Better to have 1 in the hand than 1 in the graveyard.
2 in the bush.
Sure. Isn't that why you have bird dogs, to try and keep them from falling into bushes? Or like the bird dogs can go into the bushes? And does anybody out there hunt with a dog?
Only if you are hunting ducks. And then you want to shoot the dog anyway.
What? I thought that reduced your score.
It doesn't reduce your score. He just laughs at you.
Oh, good.
He's a real jerk. Looks like we're going to have a turn 2 smiter here.
Yep.
It's pretty strong. Cow and a Pie says he'd rather have 2 dumps in the bush than 1 in the hand.
Oh, man. Just make sure there's no poison ivy.
Yeah, you don't want poison ivy.
And it's hard to identify.
Anywhere near that. Yeah, apparently.
I did my best to try and identify that poison ivy. I apologize.
I don't apologize to me. It doesn't affect me.
Well, I apologize to the Douglases at large.
I haven't asked you.
I know you did.
As an Eagle Scout.
No, I looked and I didn't see any.
Is this poison ivy? And you were like, no, sir. In my expert opinion, there is no poison ivy here. All right, so we're inquisitioning 2 lands plus something else that we don't get to see.
I think it's a pithing needle.
He hit the pithing needle the first time. I don't know if he drew another pithing needle.
Is that a Trompe the Domains?
Where do you see a trompe the domains?
No, it's just the plains. I don't know. I'm just naming.
It's in the graveyard, whatever it was. He just flipped it over immediately into the graveyard.
There's a scavenging ooze.
Man, talk about a fast start. Here we go. Chad down to, I believe, 17? Did he take a damage from a fetch? I guess not.
Took a damage from a fetch.
He did? All right,
yeah,
so
there's
he's
a fetch in the graveyard.
So yeah, he would be at 15 then, right?
So he can tack in with this smiter, and Chad can't block because he has the ability to get the Goyf down below.
You just swing first before you do anything.
Yeah, you swing and see what's up.
So if you swing to see what's up, you don't have to spend that mana this turn.
Right.
And you could get all 3 of his sorceries on his turn if that's where you want to be.
Absolutely. This is one of those things where threatening to do something is just as good as doing it.
Better in some cases.
Right. Well, right there, it's better.
Yeah, threaten the hand's worth 2 in the bush.
This is a threat on the board, to be completely fair.
Yeah. A threat on the board is also worth 2 in the bush.
All right, instant down.
Counter on this goose.
Yeah, there's a counter on the goose, so he can attack in.
So that's
we gain the life. So that's part of the resolving the effect. Oh, is this a Gavany Township? Woo.
Holy smokes!
This is 11. 5 plus 4 is 9. Yep, this Oleana's not going to do much.
And that's time. We're going to turns. This is turn 0.
So Scott's the active player. He'll be on turn 0 right now. Alright, so what this does is it creates a situation where I guess this Oleana's going to have to target one of the creatures.
Unless he has another creature to block, I don't think it matters.
What's this, a Jace?
Yeah, that's a Vryn's Prodigy. It'll block.
Jace Vryn's Prodigy, and here's
that
another
dog
Goyf.
will hunt. So, see how far we can shrink these Goyfs.
Alright. Disagree with the Ghost Quarter there. See, if he plays the other land, he has an additional green source, and then he can shrink those Goyfs even further. He doesn't really have to protect his life total here because he's applying so much pressure.
Right, and also the Ghost Quarter can also represent a green mana.
Sure. Oh, yeah, okay. It does. He has 2 Ghost Quarters.
Let's talk Ghost Quarter tricks here.
All right, educate me.
I've done some crazy shenanigans with Ghost Quarters.
All right. No need for the Ghost Quarter to represent anything here because Chad just blocks because the Gavany Township represents death on both fronts.
So he can loot with a Jace to try and draw into something, but then he loses that as a blocker.
Yeah, what you want to do is you want to block with the Jace, loot with it, flip it, and then you can potentially loot for a an answer.
All right, so Mishra's Bobble. Look at Scott. loot himself. Draw, discard. We're going to have a flipped Jace. We're not hunting the dogs themselves. They are dogs bred for hunting.
Oh no, I would never hunt the dog. That's outside the social norms in this country.
Okay. What if it was like Cujo?
Isn't he a wolf?
Cujo? No, Cujo is definitely a dog. He was a
feral dog?
Saint Bernard. He was a typically docile dog, I believe.
But then he got possessed by the demon.
Correct. Yeah, not bubbling yourself seems like a mistake. It doesn't really matter what Scott has. Like, if he gets something, you're just dead. Can't play around it. Let's eat a goif.
Yep. And once you've eaten one goif, you have to commit to eat both of them. Right?
It's only fair.
Okay, so we're going to Ghost Quarter to generate an additional green mana. This is where the card coming in untapped.
So we've got a goif. Do we have a removal spell to complement him to stay alive for the fourth and final of Scott's turns? Both of these creatures are threatening. Oh, so we get a minus Jason. Hit this Maelstrom Pulse.
Well, there's another Ghost Quarter out there. So we could Ghost Quarter the plains. It is an instant or a sorcery. So you're going to Ghost Quarter the forest. I would have Ghost Quarter the plains, but that's just me.
Yeah, I don't think that really matters. So he can't both activate and play Tarmogoyf because it costs 3 to activate.
Right. So the manland is not in play. Well, one of the two is going to be you know, something you have to deal with, but I imagine it's going to be a Tarmogoyf more than anything.
All right, so 2 creatures. He's going to survive a turn.
Path to Exile wins him the game here?
Chad knows what the top card is.
Oh, rebuy. You got to rebuy to get that path. He gets a redraw.
Yeah, redraw is big here. Get yourself a path.
Path to Exile.
Oh, Disenchant.
It's a disenchant.
Why did we bring that card in?
I don't know why that card exists. You got to attack, I guess. Well,
just pass. There's no point in playing this Arbiter.
Well, welcome to the
full draw.
The Bob Ross match of the evening, because we drew one up here.
Yeah.
Unless Chad has an infinite combo, but this isn't EDH, boys. It's
plenty of infinite combos in Modern, but that'll do it. That's time in the round. That is turn 5 of turns on extended clock time. Take it into the limit. We'll be back here in like 30 seconds.
Don't go anywhere. We're gonna go pick a match and we're gonna come back.
Yes. Hang on to your butts.
Thanks for watching Top Tech Productions, your home for live weeknight Magic the Gathering. We'll be back with more live Magic shortly, so stay tuned. Don't forget to follow us here on Twitch to be notified of when we go live. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe as well. You can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/TopTechProductions, on Twitter at twitter.com/TopTechProds, and YouTube at youtube.com/TopTechProductionsStream.